Well, welcome back to cost accounting or managerial accounting. Today, lesson 5. We are going to cover chapters 9 and 10 from the textbook. Chapter 9 deals with decision making and relevant information. All business decision making involves a choice of two or more actions. Relevant information is that which differs with the choice of action and is not in common to both. Any costs that remain constant relative to the choices is irrelevant to that decision and need not be considered when making the decision. Therefore, the relevant costs of a decision is the incremental cost of each activity or each choice plus the opportunity cost of profit foregone by making the decision. Opportunity cost is the cost of using resources in the second best fashion. So we give up the higher benefit. That amount is not recorded in the financial records. By the way, it needs to be calculated or imputed or estimated, as the case may be. We'll take a look at this as we move along. The book value of existing equipment, for instance, is a sunk cost and therefore irrelevant to decisions about replacing equipment. Managers look for bottlenecks in production and attempt to increase their utilization, efficiency, or capacity in order to increase profits and profit margins. The chapter introduces a formal decision-making 5-step process. While it may appear intuitively obvious upon examination, this formal model assures that no omissions take place when making decisions. And this is an important consideration when more than one person is involved in the decision-making. Decision-making is applied to different issues then, such as one-time only special orders, short-run pricing decisions, and outsourcing decisions. The model focuses on opportunity cost analysis as presented in economic theory. Note that opportunity costs are not recorded in the financial records of the firm, but must be derived from those records. In this chapter, we also analyze the carrying costs of inventory, product mix decisions, and capacity constraints. The latter constraint issues are subject to throughput margin analysis of relevant costs, which the textbook presents and examines later on, and we will do in class. We also discuss the costs of dropping a customer and the cost of adding a customer. The chapter closes with decisions as affected by performance evaluation. That is the way managers are evaluated typically by performance and how this affects those items. Be sure to familiarize yourself with the vocabulary terms listed on page 375 of the chapter. If I can stress one really important issue in each chapter, it will always be make sure you know what they're talking about, what the words mean. The vocabulary is of primary importance. Chapter 10 then presents quality as a tool of competition. It also presents inventory management and just-in-time purchasing and just-in-time production methods as well. We start by examining 4 categories of costs: prevention costs, appraisal costs, internal failure costs, and external failure costs. We define and analyze these in the chapter and in the context of quality control of the products or services sold by the firm. We next turn to non-financial measures of quality improvement used by management. Included here are customer satisfaction measurement, percentage of defective units produced or sold, and training employees in quality improvement measures. All of these costs are relevant to decision making, of course. 3 specific tools are discussed in this context, including Pareto diagrams. We will introduce those probably for the first time, I believe. Control charts and cause and effect diagrams. Next, we look at how management identifies relevant costs and the benefits of quality improvement. We focus on cost savings and improvement in contribution margins here. We also look at trade-offs between prevention, appraisal, and failure costs. These are interchangeable to some extent. Various non-financial measures of long-run performance here are also considered, particularly the long-run environmental stability of the product or service model employed. The EOQ model is then introduced and examined. We use both financial records and non-recorded opportunity costs in the analysis. Next, JIT, just-in-time, purchasing and production are covered. The concept of demand pull approach is presented. Benefits like lower costs, higher margins, higher quality, faster delivery, and simpler accounting systems are then presented and discussed. Customer response times, the time it takes from a customer ordering to receiving the product, and delays are examined last of all. Clearly, these are of increasing importance in an Amazon-type world where we are beginning to demand instant gratification, same-day delivery, things like this are significant issues for competition among firms. Again, vocabulary, please check page 428. The vocabulary here is not only important, but it is a rather lengthy list, a little longer than most chapters. Be sure you master that vocabulary so that we can knowledgeably discuss these issues in class. That completes lesson 5. 3 more to go, and we'll be closing off this particular course. I'm looking forward to your continued success.